So hi guys, so welcome to I guess my room, but it's not my room. It's like a studio, and so for the next couple of I guess a couple of weeks or episodes, you're going to be watching what we're going to be talking about startups, and we want to contextualize it to startups running startups in Africa. My name is Frank Tamre. I'm joined by Somet. He's going to give an introduction and tell us why he's a good person to talk about or to go through this journey. I have done a couple of startups. We've had a lot of things that have been happening, but I guess one of the most important things today is we want you guys for the next couple of weeks and episodes for you guys to join us and get to learn a bunch of things. So, Somet,
Hey,
please tell me about yourself, man. I know you, but I guess guys are wondering, who's this guy? Who's Somet?
okay. Somet is a tech enthusiast. Well, not enthusiast, but I work in the tech industry. So I've had the pleasure of working with startups over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And you know, you kind of learn a lot of things as you go by. And one of the things I actually notice is you and I, Frank, always have this very interesting conversations on phone about the startup ecosystems, you know, what people are doing out there. And we thought, you know what, let's put this somewhere where guys can see, because it is very interesting, valid stories, experiences, and I think people get a lot of value from it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you work for a very small company.
Yes, company, a little tiny company, by a lake you might have heard of, called Microsoft.
Yes, I've heard of that. That's a very tiny company, by the way. I actually wonder sometimes how they actually make their revenues. Anyway, so for this very first episode, we want to talk about ideation. And I guess with ideation, the thing that comes to mind to me is it's such a very huge term. I think for us in Africa, we usually say English came with a ship. But like when you hear ideation, for me, I think about you have this idea and what do you want to do with it. And so if based on this experience that you've had moving all around Africa and like I guess just the cumulative experience that you've had traveling all over the world, what do you think about ideation when you hear someone saying we're in the ideation stage, or this is the ideation stage of your startup or a company?
And I think that's quite an interesting space. So one of the things I always say is an idea in your head is it doesn't do anyone any good. If it's in your head, it doesn't bring value. You have to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as that idea is new, there's a saying that goes, "There's nothing new under the sun." Okay. So nothing stops you from thinking about the same idea as I do. So I could be in another part of the world thinking about solving the same problem. But the difference between us is, you know, how do I take that idea and actually turn it into something? So I always tell people an idea is amazing, but it doesn't help anyone when it's still in your head. Do something about it.
There's something though. My idea was stolen. I had this idea to change the world, my friend, and then it was stolen. Yeah. Why are you telling me there's nothing important about an idea? Because I know there's some people who are actually going to be watching this and they're going to be wondering, I have an idea. What is this guy saying? Why is he saying that my idea can't be stolen?
It's in your head. I can never jump into your consciousness to understand what goes on in your brain for me to steal your idea. So I actually think that statement is a fallacy. I cannot steal your idea as long as it's in your head. You have to do something about it. It has to come out to your mind now. There's a very interesting gentleman on the continent who said something. You know, if I can do something faster, better, and cheaper than you, then that's competition. So if we both have an idea in our heads, and I get it out faster, then I have an advantage. Think about it this way: how many people thought of the idea of Uber, what Uber does? A lot of people. If you actually go around the world, you realize a lot of people who actually thought about solving that problem the same way. What makes you different is what do you actually do about it. A very famous rapper says, you know, you have more power at your fingertips today than entire generations that came before you. Question is, what are you going to do with it? So I'd say for ideas, you have to do something about it. It's, you know, we can think about ideas from here to the end of the earth, we can take years, but if we actually don't do something about it, it really doesn't happen.
Then what about this thing where, so I'm thinking right now, like we're here, we're talking, so my idea is I want to build the next laptop that can be used underwater and you can type, and so I go and tell it to you. But then you take that idea, because that's what I'll say, like I gave someone the idea and then he rushed and went to that tiny company and the tiny company made that laptop. So should I also say that the tiny company is done by my idea?
Not really. The thing people forget is we are all independent human beings with our own thoughts, perceptions, and exposures.
Yeah.
So yes, I might share an idea with you,
Yeah.
but you might have executed completely different from what I would ever do in whatever ways that I tried to do it. So yes, as much as you might share your idea to me, I might go do something about it. But that's what makes us different, and that's the whole idea about being an entrepreneur, is go do something. I think one of my colleagues always says, do the thing. You have that idea, do something about it.
Yeah.
If it sits in your head, it's as good as it sitting in my head.
So then that begs the question on, we have a lot of pitching competitions, especially in the continent. Like there's so many pitching competitions and guys come and say, you guys are gonna come and have this hackathon for 48 hours and we're gonna give you $10,000 and we want to hear what new thing you're going to build. And then there's some people who come and listen in as judges or whatever, and then they take these concepts and then people have claimed, I don't know whether that's true or not, but people have claimed that people take these same concepts and then they go and implement them elsewhere. And so then there's that whole fear where people have, like I think today there's a gentleman who called me and was like, could we build this thing? And I was like, yes. And then he was like, I can't send you the information yet because I think you might go away with it. And I was like, why? Because there's a lot of fear currently in the continent that people will take the concept you've shared with them, how it works and everything, and they're going to use it elsewhere. Should you as a person who's starting out in entrepreneurship be scared of sharing your idea to people because someone will take it and run away with it? Because I think so many people are really scared about that.
I think you can look at it in sort of two ways. One, there's a whole conversation around protecting your intellectual property. Maybe we might do another whole episode around it. Yeah. But I actually think not. For me personally, and sort of personal opinion is, I'd love to share my idea because, I can go build out this idea, but it takes another person to give you a whole different perspective. There's this very interesting thing, and I've happened to work in developer spaces, is we build things that we think will work for us.
Yes, exactly.
And you go and build that amazing thing.
Yeah.
But then when you put it out in the market, no one wants it. Not because it's bad, but you are building it based on your experiences, your perceptions, and so you're not building what the customer wants.
Yeah.
That's what differentiates a lot of successful businesses is, yes, I have a good idea, but is it actually solving a problem? Is it something that somebody would actually buy? So I think the idea of, hey, I want to share this out is important, but you kind of have to do something about it. So by the time you're actually going to pitch or share this idea, you have something that you've done for it, and at least that someone cannot take that away from you. And at the end of the day, competition is healthy. If you get stuck in a place where you're the only player, at some point you get very complacent and very comfortable. So you really don't get pushed to push the boundary of what you're doing. Yeah. And so I think, I don't think I would be scared of sharing my idea. They say, and especially I'm saying this for founders, your job is to be strategic, to think about how this thing that you want to do is gonna go, and then you hire people to do it. So the only way you're gonna hire people to do it is if you're able to share and communicate that idea. So I don't think people should fear sharing the idea. I think people should actually do something about the idea and then get people to share your vision and then get them to buy into what you're doing. So I think we kind of have to get out of this mindset of thinking about us. It's a very selfish mindset of, oh, my idea, it's in my thing. And you kind of have to be open about, how do I get this thing out there? Because at the end of the day, fine, when you turn it into a product, you're not going to hide it in your closet. You're going to put it out there and people are going to criticize you for it.
Analyze it.
So if you're scared already of sharing the idea, what happens with the day you put out this product and you have half of the internet trolling you? Will you shut down and crumble back? No.
So I have this very interesting formula on like ideas, where once I have an idea, I like buying books where I sit down and then I play around with like planning it and saying like, okay, so this is what I'm thinking. this is where it's going to be. More or less like a very small business plan in quotes. But it's like, this is what I'm thinking, this is how it will work, this is how I think I'm going to get the first customer, this is how I'm going to push it out to people and things like that. I need this specific type of stuff. And under all this phase, I think the idea is good if it's written down. It's one thing for it to be in your head, but then if you write it down, it gets solidified. Then I actually agree with you when you say it's important for people to share.
And that writing is the first step to do
Exactly.
something about it.
Exactly, because then you see, once I have it written down, then nowadays with tech and everything, you can type it out. And I think it's also good for people to understand we're talking about businesses, I guess, in general. Documenting it is like the next step of you solidifying your idea, and then now you start, do extra
It's part of
research.
communication. It's part
Exactly.
of sharing your vision.
Exactly. And so what part do you think, as founders, maybe as wrapping up, is like, should we do extra research? And especially I think the comment you said where we have a lot of power within our hands nowadays with our mobile phones, but then you hear people out here giving excuses like, oh yeah, I don't have this thing, I don't have that thing. And I'm like, but you have your mobile phone and data, man, come on.
Mm-hmm.
You can search for these things, you can search for how to do a business plan, you can do research about the fields in your market, who are the players there, and things like that. Do you think that enough time should also be put in doing extra research about the specific business that you want to have, especially since it's still an idea and you've not checked whether it exists out there or it doesn't exist?
No, definitely, I agree with you. You need to put in the work.
Yeah.
And I'll use a very interesting example I came across. There's one very big accelerator in the US that does something that I absolutely love, where you come into their program with an idea and what they tell you to do. So let's take an example. My idea is I want to sell sandwiches.
Yes.
What they tell you to do, you want to sell sandwiches? Stop thinking about, I need to find a location, I need to buy equipment. Like, go make that sandwich in your house.
Yeah.
Go and try and sell it to
Yeah.
someone. It's the only way you validate your idea.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
at the end of the 1 week, they expect you to either come back with a customer
Yeah.
or some money.
Yeah.
That's already validating your idea. So at the end of the day, you have to put in the work. Take time and figure out, okay, this sandwich, what do I want it to have? Cheese, I want it to have ham, I want to have it this. Do I want it toasted? Do I want white bread, brown bread?
Yeah.
Do it. Get it and try and sell it to someone. Validate your idea. So you're right. Definitely you have to put in the time and the effort to put in the research of what you want to do.
Yeah.
I think the also other key, very interesting thing, and personal recommendation from my experience, is try and get a co-founder. Try and get someone else into your idea and vision. For this simple reason, you will get a very different perspective of what you have.
Very, very true. Very true. That part I do agree with you, and I think I've done like a couple of them. And so like just like to finish this off, with regards to ideas, it's worthless if it's in your head. It's good for you to do extra research, put it out there. You don't have to be scared about sharing it. And then the most important thing is it's not about you having that idea, but it's the extra thing you do with it, which is, have you started running with that idea or not, right? Okay, cool. This founder thing is very interesting. I think we'll talk about it next. So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was it. So, yeah.
Cut.
So, today, tutakaa tukaliopati. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.